Hello and welcome to my 6th tutorial. In this tutorial we are going to learn functions and how to start programs via your program. That's very interesting and you will going to use it a lot. You can also use it to print some files or start some programs. Okay, that's very interesting, so let's get started. First of all, we're going to learn functions. Functions are very important in programming, as they are grouping some code that is going to be used more times. For example, we have to add two numbers. It's not very complicated to add two numbers, but it can be boring to always type A equals B plus C or something like that. For example, you can have a long code that you need to copy on several places, and if you need to modify that code, you would have needed to modify it more than once. So functions let us define code, let us group code in small pieces, and we can call those groups anytime, and we can modify it only on one place and it will be modified through the whole program. So functions can have also return values. For example, we can create a function that will return sum of two numbers. We're going to call it sum. So let's define a function. You start defining outside the int main and outside these brackets, so above this. And so we will define a function that will return an integer value, and function will be named sum, and for its parameters it will have integer values in A, and the second parameter will be integer B. Open the brackets, close, and we are going to define C variable in C, and C is going to have value A plus B. So this will not function if we run it. The compiler will say that we don't have a return value on function, if you can see. Nope. Function sum must return a value. So we forgot to type this, return C. What does this mean? Like the main function, which returns 0 and it terminates the program. This return will terminate this function, but it will return the value of variable C. So we can use it. We can use it like this. We have two values, int x and y. We are going to input those variables. And after that, we're going to call the function. We're going to print the function, as you can see, and we're going to first parameter will be x, second will be y, and line system pause, so we can see what our program does, and we can run. When we run the program, you will see here. We're going to type the first number 5 and the second number 6, and we have 11. So, for example, you should have typed something like, it's not very complicated. You could have typed instead of sum just x plus y, but we have a function that will do this. For example, we can have a function that will modify something in memory or something that's very complicated. So functions can return any data type. But if you want a function that will not return anything, for example, it will print only something, you can also do it like this. You can print something inside this function. You can say function sum is executing, and line. And we can run it again to see. We're going to type 4 and 1, and it will say function sum is executing, print this line on the console window. Then it defines variable C, type int, and then the variable C gets the value A plus B. And after that it returns C. by returning variable c, this command will output the return value of the function that we're calling. So that will do that. Okay. But also one interesting thing would be, as I said, we're going to learn that, calling some programs and executing other programs. I will do that on the end of this tutorial, but first we're going to go through some more examples of functions. So let's define a function that doesn't need to return a value. It's type void. Void type is something, it's like a variable. It's not a variable, it does not return anything. It's like something like null. So void type function void type doesn't need to return a value. So void welcome message. You need to open and close brackets if you don't need any parameter. Function does not need to have parameters. And in this function we're going to type welcome to program. Welcome to our program. And we're going to end line. So you're going to call this welcome message. You're going to call it when the program starts. As you can see, there is no return command because we don't need it. It's void type. Function is type void. When we run it, it will say welcome for our program, and then it waits for us to enter some numbers. It does everything that it should do, and that's simple. You can also define a double function or a function that returns a string or anything else, so it's very simple. And as I promised, we're going to learn how to execute programs in C++ on Windows platform, of course. This code will be different on Linux, it will be different on Mac. So we are going to learn about Windows, as I'm a Windows user and I learned to program on Windows. So let's define, for example, let's define a function that's named startup program. It doesn't need to return a value, so it will be type void, and we're going to call it start program. Of course, there's a problem. We need to how can I say, define the name of the program. For defining a name of the program, we're going to use string variable. String variable is a variable that can hold characters. So let's define it. Type string space, and we are going to name the string file name. Close the brackets. This, and let's type the command. The command is named shell execute. Shell execute, but as you can see, our IDE says that we don't have that command. That's because I forgot to include the Windows header file. So we're going to go to the top of the program, and under include IOStream we're going to type include windows.h. And now we can use shell execute. We're going to type shell execute, open. It asks us for handle of our program. We can type null here, so it means that the program will not be connected with our program, so it will be run. For the operation, we are going to use open. It means that it will open some certain file or certain application. Then add another comma, and it asks us for file, as you can see. So we are going to use our file name, and we're going to try it like that. But I think it won't work because it needs a constant string. For parameters, as you can see, so we need to file name. We need to add this cstr, it converts our string to long pointer constant string. We then can add parameters. We don't need parameters, so we're going to type null. For directory, we're going to type null, so it will run in default directory. And show cmd, it defines how the program will be started. Will it be started in full screen or not, or something like that. So we're going to use this constant. It's show normal, I guess. Yes, show normal. So it will start the program as you would start it by double clicking on it. So that's our little function. We can call it just before exiting the program. So let's call it like this: start program. Start program, and it asks us for file name. We can use this. We need to type these quotation marks, and between those quotation marks we need to type the name of the program. We're going to type MS Paint, and it will run Microsoft Paint program. So let's run it and let's see if it works. Welcome to our program. It executes the welcome message function. It prints us text. Then the program defines those two variables and waits for us to insert those two variables, 6 and y. We're going to 10 and 11. Function is executing, and as you can see, the paint is started. And when we press any key, the paint will be started again. Then we can draw something, and that's how to start a program. Thanks for watching, and I'm not going to say this. And thank you for watching, and that's something about functions. I hope you understood them, and if you don't understand functions very well, you can ask me something about that, and I will be glad to help you. Comment and please subscribe. Thanks for watching again, and see you in the next tutorial. We are going to display something else, so maybe we are going to do some interesting program, because we know a lot about C++ now. So we're going to maybe we're going to make some games. So stay tuned. Thanks for watching, and please subscribe. See ya.